Guys, I have been talking to myself for 5 minutes. I have been talking to myself for 5 minutes. I wasn't live. Hi, everyone. How's it going? I have already told you all about my day. Oh, that's embarrassing. Anyways, well, I guess I'll start recounting this story. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. So I had a lot of chores to do, like little chores. I know, right? Um, I had a lot of chores, and so I was just saying, I really enjoy doing like focused work. So if I have to write an article or record a video, hey Oliver, how's it going? Um, and like those are often like 2 to 4 hours of work. Writing software, recording a video, writing an article. Hey, plus, all of these things usually require just like sitting down and focusing for quite a while. And I find that like enjoyable as long as I don't have to do too many of those at a time, right? If I get like if I do two stints of like high quality focused work a day, that's usually like the upper bound of what I can do. But like if I do that, it's a good day. Today, on the other hand, I did get to write some code, but it was like fixing up a pull review or like a pull request. So I had to go through the review, and that bounces back and forth. And then I had a meeting, and then I had a bunch of chores I had to do, which is just the bookstore sent me a very damaged copy of this translation of the Odyssey that I wanted. And so I had to be like, guys, can you send me one that isn't crumpled? That'd be great. Um, Usually, I mean, I don't really mind that it's a little damaged. It's just that I paid for it. you know, like this is a company that sent me not what I bought. So I was like, okay, I have to do that, and then I had to set up some other stuff, and I set up another meeting, and it was just tasks, just lots of tasks. And I don't like tasks. So, and I still have more tasks. Hey, how's it going? Northern Chimp. What a good name. You guys have such great names. Okay. And so I'm just here, kind of a little tired today. I feel like I say that almost every time. And usually that's a sign that we're going to get next to no work done. I do want to talk about some containers and stuff we want to run. So that'll be we'll chat about that. Maybe create a list. Uh, let's see. I just bought a MacBook Air. They're pretty cheap now at 1K. Now I can transform my old laptop into a server. Ooh, cool. I mean, the MacBook Air really is a great deal. I'm like Linuxy, like like a Linux guy, but just when it comes, yeah, like last Monday, when it comes to laptops and mobile devices, there's just like nothing as good as the MacBook right now, right? If you want like good battery life, really good hardware, the MacBook Air is very reasonably priced. It's still like Unix E. Um, like it just is probably the best deal at that price range for just performance per watt and performance per dollar on the MacBook Air side. On the MacBook Pro side, I don't know if you can make the same argument about performance per dollar, but you can definitely make the same argument about performance per watt. And that matters. So I don't know. Something I'm thinking about. Uh, what else? Oh, one of the things that's been frustrating me is I get these weird issues on OBS where like various of my devices will be interpreted incorrectly or disconnect and stuff. And I am really, really thinking about moving to another Linux. I mean, like, what are you gonna do, right? I'm on Arch Linux. What a shocker that it's not a stable environment. So I'm thinking about that. I also need to start thinking about buses, right? Like I don't know the orientation of my motherboard, like what buses things are on, like which USB ports map to what bus and how much traffic's going over each bus. I don't really know how to think about that appropriately, but it really matters when I've got like an HD camera here, an HD camera here, an audio setup. I've got another thing coming in that's like the the test bench, right? And I would like to add more things too. And so I have to start thinking this through. Obviously, I don't want to move to Windows. That doesn't seem like the solution. um, but yeah, I don't know. It also makes an interesting question about setup, right? Because this is also my gaming computer. And if I were to put another device here, right? Like, let's say I considered a Mac Studio for my streaming, right? Where does my gaming computer go? What do I do with it? I don't know. Refurbished ThinkPad X1 for Linux support is the way to go. Yeah, I know the ThinkPad gang is strong. How do I... Spenarkly? How do I pronounce your name? I want to be able to refer to you by name. I was running Arch 2, wasted so much time trying to get everything to run, and it wasn't great in the end. Yeah, I mean, I'm on Omarchy, which is like that one sort of distro on top of a distro that did a bunch of that's done Hyperland quite well. But I really don't, like, it was exciting. I love tiling window managers. But I don't know about all this. Spen Barkley. Okay, Spen Barkley. Gotcha. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. So anyways, I'm thinking about my setup because, you know, kind of have to. I'm starting to feel some growing pains about this whole situation. Yeah, I don't know. That's something that's been on my mind. I'm also thinking about my self-hosting setup. So as you know, I've been playing around with Zima OS and I was really impressed. I still am very impressed. But I'm thinking... I got a lot of comments on my Zima OS video, very insightful, like good comments, about like, well, what happens if your Zima device breaks, right? Obviously, your ZFS setup, I assume they're ZFS. I should look into what their underlying mechanism is for handling storage. But you have like all of the RAID capabilities, so I'm guessing ZFS. That's going to be fine. You can just import it. But at the same time, when it comes to your configuration of Docker containers, what you actually want to run, I'm not sure how to back that up effectively. Whereas if I had like a Git repo with a bunch of Docker composes and I'm comfortable in the command line, so that's not problematic for me. For some people, I do think the GUI is a nice way for them to go about it, right? But I think that would be my preferred way of handling the containers. And I'm kind of thinking of separating compute from storage and having Zima manage my storage, whereas I have like just a compute Debian server that runs containers with like a nice GitOps Docker Compose setup. That seems to be like a really good approach. That's what I'm playing with in my head, and we can chat about that today. I think that'll be fun. Oliver says, I don't know. I haven't really had an issue with my with Arch in my year and a half of using it so far. What caused it to become unstable? Sorry, I'm just laughing because Kyle piped up with Proxmox and Nix, which very on brand. Okay, what caused it to be unstable? Okay, so here's my thing. If what I was doing was exclusively software development and like DevOpsy stuff like that and home labbing, this would be fantastic and I would have no trouble. But content creation TM is historically quite challenging on Linux. Now it's gotten a lot better, but Arch is like not the optimal way. Like Arch is not the optimal thing for this. Cause like, okay, here's let me see. I think there's two ideas that I need to parse apart here. One of them is like actual true stability, and the other is like tolerance to little hiccups, right? So based on like the task at hand. So my Arch system hasn't broken at any point, right? Like it's fine, but there's frequently little hiccups. And that would be fine again if I wasn't doing like this production setup where I have streams that happen on a schedule, or like I work a full-time job and I'm also trying to put out YouTube videos, and that's a boatload of work, you know? And so my tolerance for dealing with those hiccups and uncertainties is quite low because I need to just go do another, like, I just need to get to work. And so that's become frustrating. Um, so it's something I'm thinking about. I've got my laptop here to manage. I've got a teleprompter set up now, and I need to scroll up on comments because you guys are chatting, which is good. Thank you. Okay, Plus says today's Debian testing is as stable as Debian stable was 20 years ago, and it's not as rusty. Yeah. Um, yeah. I have tried Debian testing as a desktop environment before, and we've talked about this, right? One of the things that blocked me was Terraform, but you mentioned maybe it was you, maybe it was Sarah who mentioned Brew as an alternative, and of course there is just, doing some manual package management, which I'm not super opposed to. Um, Maybe I'll give that another shot. As for Proxmox and NixOS, that's going in my Homelab. Proxmox and NixOS is for Homelabbing. Self-hosting, I'm trying to keep as simple as possible so that my stuff that I'm self-hosting just always works. So I am this year trying to separate those out. We'll see how that goes. Proxmox for containers, TrueNAS for storage. Okay, I know. Okay, so let's chat about that because that's interesting. TrueNAS, I'm not surprised about. I do need to try that at some point because I haven't played with TrueNAS at all, and I know it's kind of like the storage thing. For Proxmox, I know Proxmox LXCs are mature, and I've used LXCs, but I also know its Docker implementation is quite new. Do you have thoughts on that? And then Gordon says, you inspired me to set up zimaOS on a little test compute. It works great, but something about it feels too young to keep as the foundation of all my important data. Yes, it is a little bit young. I agree. I do find it really promising. So, I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. I think it is worth trying because for me, the benefits of the Zima client on multiple smartphones is just too great not to try, Oliver says, fair enough. I had to get a Linux ISO version of DaVinci Studio just for it to export properly. Yeah, right? Love my TrueNAS, but if you want a decent ARC cache hit ratio, RAM for a new setup would be quite expensive now. Yes, that's a good point. I did read back in the day about ZFS's ARC cache stuff. I don't have a ton of knowledge about that, but I do know at some point, what was there's like an old adage in the TrueNAS space that's something like 2 gigabytes of RAM for every terabyte of storage or something. But I don't know how accurate that is. Can somebody weigh in on that? Spen Barkley says, Proxmox is easy, and AI agents like open code help a lot when you're not familiar with the system. Interesting. So what would you be switching to? Mint, Windows? Definitely not Windows. Mint actually sounds like a good idea for content creation. Maybe I'll try Mint. I don't know. I'm not going to be moving my setup anytime soon. I do not have time for that. But Mint, I did make the Mint video, and it is kind of my most popular video, so maybe. The Docker on Proxmox is more like a translation from Docker to LXC. I'd still use containerd in an LXC instead. Okay, interesting. Its Docker implementation is pretty solid. I haven't run into stability issues. Okay. What's your opinion on the food KD? Like KD, like Kraft Dinner? Like is Kraft Dinner a Canadian thing? Hey, Zach, how's it going? Hello back from Canada. What's your opinion? Is that what we're talking about? KD? 1 gigabyte per terabyte. Okay, cool. I've been really interested in trying out Cache at some point. Yeah. Did I make a video on Cache? I think I did for that, for my gaming console on Chewy. Yeah. I was impressed with Cache for its gaming stuff. I don't know if I would leap to it for content creation. But that's an uninformed opinion, I think. I don't know. Yeah. I was very impressed, though. Americans call it Kraft mac and cheese, but it's the same thing. Okay. Yeah. I hate Kraft Dinner. I hate it. Oh, God. It's okay. So I'm also lactose intolerant, but I find it's just it's like gooey. Oh, no shame if you like it, though. That's just me. Proton says, CacheOS has been great for me on my new 9800X3D with 9070 XT. What a great setup. I think a couple of other people in chat also have the 9070 XT. Um, Proton, I take it you're doing a lot of Linux gaming with that, and you've got the 9800 X3D, so that just tells me gaming, right? What are you running? And have you tested out performance against Windows out of curiosity? TrueNAS Arc Cache. It's more about the number of files and the frequency of same file slash blocks. Okay, that would make sense. With 5 million files using 30 terabytes, my Arc usage is always around 40 gigabytes. Okay, well, that checks out with the adage of like 1 to 2 gigabytes per terabyte, right? Sounds like 2 gigabytes per terabyte is probably like overkill, but if you're in a production setting, you want to be significantly overkill, probably. Um, okay. Mint is a decent distro, but keep in mind if you want something lightweight, it's definitely not that. I'm not looking for lightweight. Like for production, I don't give a shit, right? Like I'm not an anti-bloatware person. I've done that before. I've tried it, and you know what happens? You find out that it's not bloat, and it was actually really important for this edge case that only mattered this one time, but God did it matter a lot. I really wish I had the bloatware. That's what I've seen happen many, many times. Now, it is super fun to set up a minimal set, like to make a minimal setup. So I'm not saying that's not true, right? Like that's not fun or not a cool thing to do. But I am saying if you're in a mode where Linux isn't your hobby at the moment, it's like something else and you need the computer to like just work TM, going minimal and lightweight is probably going to cause you more problems. It is a good way to learn what solves those edge cases though, right? So again, it's about where your focus is, right? If you are learning some Linux, go ahead and make yourself a lightweight distro, find out where those edge cases are, break the thing, all of that. I'm just not currently in that mode. Okay, what do we got? My server is all on TrueNAS scale. I use a mix of their community apps and the Docker manager for others. Okay, cool. Yeah, I definitely need to give TrueNAS scale a try. When using PBS, Git on TrueNAS, get more than 1 gigabyte per terabyte. Okay. What's PBS? Every game I like can't run on Linux and it makes me sad. Dude, yeah, I feel that. Like if you want to play multiplayer AAA titles, you can't game on Linux for the most part, right? Now, I'm less and less playing those, but a guilty pleasure of mine and my friend group is Fortnite, which is like admittedly a terrible game, but like I'm long past taking gaming seriously. And sometimes we just want to turn our brains off and yap while just with some stimulation in the background. And that's one of those things. We tend to prefer competitive games. And so, yeah, that happens. Zach says, your cam quality is stunning. I did not believe it's a live stream. Oh, thank you. I'm using a Fujifilm X-T20 for camera. So, yeah, it's maybe overkill, but I'm very grateful for it. This, on the other hand, so for contrast, I was running this for a long time, which is my like Logitech Brio, which is about as good as webcams get. But the difference between a webcam and like a full DSLR or mirrorless thing like camera is big. It's really big. Oliver, fair. I'm kind of neutral about KD, just considering what to make for breakfast or lunch. Fair. I mean, so for just to briefly touch on that, one of the things I often do is I often forget to eat breakfast or lunch. Comes from years of just like being anxious as a kid, and my response to anxiety is not to eat. So if you are in a position of like KD or not eating, probably eat the KD, regardless of if you like it or not. What do we got? So Plus is listing out 7600 X3D plus 9070 XT with my custom Debian kernel. Wayland Proton GE usually outperforms Windows. Really? Okay. I mean, I have seen that like more and more not Wayland. More and more Proton is catching up or even in some cases exceeding Windows, which I found very surprising, but exciting. I hope that continues to be the case. Ozzy says, the great thing with Proxmox is that you can use Cloud Init, Ansible, Terraform, Proxmox templates for automating provisioning and quick rebuilds. Yes, I have played around with Cloud Init, Ansible, and Terraform in the past. Um, and it was cool, but super overkill for my setup. That being said, redundancy and quick rebuilds are overkill right up until something breaks, and then you really wish you had redundancy. So maybe I should. Proxmox backup server. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. No, I haven't tested performance difference since I haven't gotten around to dual booting. I wanted to put Windows on a separate drive, but SSD prices skyrocketed after I finished my build. Yeah, I feel that. Like, I need some new drives to migrate my NAS, but I don't have that kind of money. Like, I really wish. You know what? If there's a sponsor out there and you want me to make a sponsored video about hard drives, please feel free to send me your hard drives. I bet they're great. I will cash out, I swear. I'm kidding. Also, if you do choose Mint, I did prefer XFCE to Cinnamon, but might just be me. I haven't used XFCE since Debian 10. But that does sound fun. Maybe I'll give it a try. Kyle, Battlefield 6 and iRacing are my games. iRacing has anti-cheat, and that's the problem, but also wheel and pedal driver support is meh. Interesting. That I didn't know about. Okay. Yeah, I haven't played the new Battlefields in a while, but yeah, it's anti-cheat. It's always anti-cheat. Hey, it's been a while. Has been a bit since I showed up. How's your Emacs holding up? I have not touched it since. Freaking Emacs, man. I did not get back to it. Maybe one day. Oliver says, it's how I eat. If there's nothing I can find, I skip the meal. Most healthy eating practice. Fair enough. Spen Barkley says, what are the services source actually running the server besides personal file managers? I'm running a vibe-coded low distraction YouTube client that sorts my subs into categories. Huh. Well, for the services that I want to run, probably like Jellyfin, ads, what is it? AdGuard, Booklore, a bunch of like personal content stuff, and then I would also be interested in like a subscription and self-hosted like YouTube thing. That would be really nice, because there are some. I'm just gonna grab the blinds. My girlfriend's home and she doesn't like to be on camera. Okay. So, also tell me more about your vibe coded low distraction YouTube client. That sounds really cool. Uh, okay. It's the same case for me in terms of not needed until it is, but I figured I would rather have it than not. Makes sense. Yeah. Definitely chose Cache for gaming performance, but I found that it's just really good configured Arch. Yes. So after once bricking my system, the default ButterFS grub snapshot config saved me from trooting. Okay. I have been frustrated with ButterFS, mostly because I find the snapshotting annoying and filling up my drive, and then I have to do snapshot maintenance, and I'm not used to that. But maybe that's a skill issue. Can very much recommend but not having to troot and being able to roll back to snapshots is pretty freaking great. I can very much recommend Cache, no matter if you want to game or not. It's just very stable. Okay. On the topic of influencing and sponsorships, what's your opinion on advertising products and sponsorship placements? Would you only advertise products you use, or would you go like the Linus Tech Tips route? I would advertise a product if I thought that there was a significant portion of my community that would benefit from the product, and the product was reasonably priced, and the company was like ethical in general. That would be my outline. The reason I say that instead of like only products I would use is because I am not representative of my audience and community, right? So maybe something would be perfect for a big bunch of people in my community, but it's just not for me. Advertisement of products should be mutually beneficial to all the parties, right? So if it's obviously it's useful to the company, but it's also only useful to the company if there's a group of like a part of my community that would actually want the product, right? So I would deny it on that ground because I can't be helpful to the company. And then on the grounds of the community, well, if I can show them a product that's actually useful and helpful and solves a problem for them, then I've provided a service to them. Otherwise, that's not useful. That's not worth doing. Um, so that's what's most important to me. Those two ends of it. Me like I what's useful to me is a decent heuristic. It's a decent place to start, but I should consider like, okay, maybe I don't use Office, for example. I don't use Office tools very much. Like I don't use Word or PowerPoint or anything like that. But open source Office alternatives, if they were like, Nathan, would you be interested in partnering with me with our company? I would be like, yes, because I think a lot of people in my community do use Office tools and would be open to or interested in like an open source Office alternative. So that's my answer to that question. I would not take sponsorships from companies that just are making crap, right? I have gotten many requests to do a sponsored video on some AI tool, right? A billion AI note taking apps have been like, Nathan, we loved your insert video here. Would you like to do a video on our AI note taking app that is revamping or like disrupting the market? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't want to do that. What would be your ideal setup with infinite money? Oh, okay. Let's talk about that in a second. That would be a fun topic of today's stream because I am not doing work today. So, Ozzy says use external HDDs and shuck them. They can be pretty cheap on sale and are good quality. I know you're also in Canada. I got some 28 terabytes for 420 bucks. Okay, good to know. 420 bucks at the moment though is still significantly out of my price range. Um, Unfortunately, I would love for it to be in my price range. Spen Barkley says, do you remember Twitter Pro? I made the same thing for YouTube. My subs sorted into columns, but it's not ready for publish, I guess. I'm using the YouTube API. It has a bunch of free usage each day. Oh, very cool. I don't remember Twitter Pro. I've never been a Twitter user, but I'm all for distractionless environments. Actually, let's chat about that a little bit, and then I forgot how to pronounce your username. Al- Alizelfa? I don't know. Please correct me. Um, and remind me about your topic because that's going to be really fun. Okay. So, oh wow. Stream's been popping off lately. Cool. Okay, so let's pop over here. And what did I want to show you all? My metrics. No. Is my camera working correctly? Zoop. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna close this. I'm gonna go here. Um, that's a shame about YouTube Archivist. That was exactly what I was planning on moving to. Okay, I was trying to answer a question here. Mm. Okay, so, undistracted, right? It's not this one. No, uninternet. So, this, this is a Chrome extension I really like, and its creator. No, that's email. Yes, its creator was basically saying, "Hey, we're like I can't afford to continue supporting this because it just hasn't performed as well as I would have liked." And so I asked him if he would mind open sourcing it, and if he did, then I would like advertise it a little bit. So if we go over here, and then let's go. How do I check my posts? Maybe I can just go create post. Yeah. Here we go. So he's open sourced this Chrome extension, so we can all do development on it. I love it, right? So first of all, this is what my YouTube looks like. Takes a while, which I like. You can see like it's just free of distraction, right? And the same is true of my Amazon and I deactivated my Instagram account, so we're not going to touch that. But yeah, this is a beautiful, wonderful interface that makes YouTube a lot less addictive, right? So I'm actually going to drop this in chat. I highly recommend one, installing it, and two, if you like the work, I think it's really important that we as a community support people who are building cool stuff like that. So I donated. And it looks like a bunch of other people have donated as well, which I'm really proud of because this is one, a really cool tool, and two, the guy took the time to open source the software for us. Like that's got to be great, you know? Um, Okay. There are more affordable ones, but that was just what I settled on for to get a 136 terabyte pool from a NAS setup. Holy, that's awesome. What's going to be the purpose of your home lab? Great question. Okay, so um, yes, okay, we covered this. I'm gonna go back here. The goal here. So we'll separate two things. I'm gonna keep bringing this up, but I separate self-hosting from home labbing. Home labbing is when I have a bunch of stuff that I like to experiment with. Um, Self-hosting is what I call like production, right? So I want to have a production NAS that stores a bazillion copies of Big Buck Bunny for my Jellyfin, of course, as well as um, storing family photos, storing clips for video editing for the YouTube channel, like all of that kind of stuff. I'd like to store my ebooks, that kind of thing. So that's the major purpose. Mostly replacing cloud storage and streaming. Yeah, that would be it. That would be the big thing. So hoping to move towards that. Cloud storage, streaming, backups. Yeah. So looking for Jellyfin. I want AdGuard to go on my OpenSense router instead of in a Docker container. I think that's probably a good way to go about that. Home Assistant, of course, things like that. Yeah. Um, that's basically the goal. How do you convince everyone to use messages instead of Instagram DMs? Um, my friends are older. My friends are older than yours. So we just never started on Instagram DMs. um, so that helped. So yeah, we've got like a just an RCS based group chat. But we're probably gonna move at some point. We'll see, because I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm also with Rogers on my cell plan, and I'm with Beanfield for my internet service provider. Which, if you're in Canada, highly recommend. Beanfield is awesome. Ozzy, do you mind letting me know why not AdGuard on OpenSense? That seemed to me like a really cool feature, but I haven't ever tested it, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's something that I don't know about that makes it annoying. At least not as a single instance. Okay, tell me a little bit more about that. Move to WeChat. WeChat? Is that even why WeChat? Now I'm curious. Okay, Kyle says, I fixed my Tube Archivist setup, just needed to auth my YouTube account on it. Ah, okay, good to know. AdGuard Home as an LXC is more stress-free than on OpenSense. Oh, okay, interesting. Um, okay, another question. Now, I know there are some, like, LXCs tend to be more like you're actually running close to a full distro than, say, a Docker container. But why an LXC for AdGuard Home as opposed to the Docker container? Unless you're saying either one. Interesting. They offer it on the mainland, but not where I live. Beanfield? Yeah. Yeah. Beanfield tends to be only in like urban areas, like densely populated areas, because they're a smaller company, so they can't. I think they can't afford like the profitability of running to like suburban areas is just not as great as like running to an apartment building. Pretty much everyone that's not on Instagram for me is on WeChat. Mainly joking. It's a running joke that we're all giving our data to the CCP. All right, makes sense. Yeah, yeah, I don't have a lot of people that I have a group chat with. So basically, I have one group chat for like the group of friends I grew up with, and that's on RCS. And then I have like a big Discord of like my extended group chat or like extended friends, and extended friends. I mean there's just a big Discord that I've like for a long time I've been gathering all my favorite people into, like, and that's how I stay in contact with pretty much everyone else. The OpenSense deployment of most of these Docker containers tends to be very behind and slower to update. Okay, I like updates in the LXC a bit more, and the Adgard Home LXC community script is done in 2 minutes. Okay, interesting. Fair enough. It's the capital, but not the city of BC. Oh, okay, okay. Are you sure you didn't mean WeChat with two E's? Different app. Oh. LXC share the host kernel, almost like a sandboxed area for an app to run disconnected from the rest of the system. Yes, that much I know. But that is the same methodology as like a Docker container or something like that, right? Hey Dixie, how's it going? Is the UPS good and running part 2 stream? Nope. Nope. Um, so many projects. So many projects. Um, I've been kind of sprinting through content creation recently. Like I put out 4 videos in 5 weeks while being sick. So that's a pretty fast pace for me. Um, and yeah, there hasn't been time to do much else, right? But yeah, I'm not working on a video this week or an article. This week I'm kind of taking off. I do have some stuff to work on for Intentional Tech, which is the company company behind the 30-day cohorts. So yeah, this should be a week where I get to relax a little bit, and then I'm moving back to videos every other week. I just wanted to sprint out a couple of videos over January, so I got them all done, and I desperately need a bit of a break. But yeah, taking this week, and then we'll be back to a reasonable pace, and then hopefully add a video every other week with a video editor, which is going to make a huge difference, I think. I'll be able to start home labbing a little bit more again. Okay. LXC are on the same backup tier as VMs. Ooh, as opposed to still having volumes in containers, which works great when you use Proxmox backup server. Okay. Spen Barkley says, I'm ahead into bed. It's approaching 11 p.m. here in Germany. All right. Thanks for coming by. Okay. Yeah, so I would... when I've run Docker on Proxmox, I have done it through a VM. So I'll set up like a Debian VM, and then I'll do my Docker containers on that, which has been a nice approach. I do that with Kubernetes. So I have like K3s with a head node and a worker node, and those are both just VMs that run. So Alexia is just like Docker on the host, so less separation. Yeah, it's Docker on the host, so less separation. Oh, we're talking about... Okay. So we're talking about specifically Docker versus LXC while on Proxmox. Okay. So wait, does that mean the Proxmox implementation of Docker is such that it spins up a secret little VM for you and it runs Docker on that secret little VM? Or is it running the containers directly on the Proxmox host? Networking is considerably easier with LXCs versus Docker too, as it shares with the host and doesn't have the extra layer Docker adds in the middle. Right. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. There is some stuff you can do to Docker to make it so that like each Docker container runs, like appears on the network as its own machine, essentially. I think I did that once for something. I don't remember exactly how it's done though. But yes, that is a lot more work. And the LXCs do feel a lot more like just VMs. Just like LXCs feel like virtual machines that are more resource flexible, which is nice. Yes, Mac VLAN. That's the one. Thank you. Nice. Silverback Scotty. Did you come up with that name? That's a good name. People are so creative. Okay. Did I miss something? Yes. Okay. So now we have the discussion of like what would be my perfect home lab if I had a bazillion dollars. What would be my perfect home lab if I had a bazillion dollars? Well, I think if I had a bazillion dollars, I would start with a self-hosting setup. And the self-hosting setup would be, let me think. So I say self-hosting. That's my setup for production. This is the thing I want to run extremely stable, not have to tinker with too much. Uh, I I'm not sure. I'd definitely get some wicked hardware, some like wicked server hardware, like proper racks, the whole thing, in a cooled room somewhere. Um, I'd probably have some offsite stuff set up, like a virtual private cloud that I sort of connect to do offsite backups. That would be nice. One of the reasons I don't do that is subscription fees currently, even though a lot of them are very modest and reasonable. Also, time. Haven't had time. Docker Desktop Windows users will hate you when your container needs Mac VLAN. Right. Because doesn't Docker Desktop on Windows just run does it run via WSL, or does it actually run like a Linux virtual machine and then run the Docker containers in that? I know it's something like that. I actually had an argument once. I was teaching assistant for the web development course at University of Toronto, and the professor, um, one of the questions on the exam had to do with this. And I was like, no, on Windows, you run like Docker doesn't run directly on like the NT kernel, right? Like there is you need like it runs on Linux, and so you need a Linux machine in there somewhere, so it has to be VM'd at some point, right? Get a Metro cluster and an MPLS backbone. MPLS backbone. I remember reading about backbones at some point. What is that? Multi-protocol label switching. Is that right? Based on labels rather than network addresses, whereas network addresses identify endpoints, MPLS labels identify established paths between endpoints. MPLS can encapsulate packets of various network protocols and supports a range of access technologies. Interesting. Metro cluster. Okay, hold on. I'm Googling. VMware vSphere Metro storage cluster. What is Metro cluster technology and how it works? Solution for building fault-tolerant and highly available storage systems with synchronous mirroring between two independent data centers. Oh, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. Okay. Wait, going back about pumping out videos, just become Luke Smith or Doobie and Gooby, record with a phone, yap for 30 to 90 minutes, then uploaded it with no editing. Yeah. I dream about that sometimes, but honestly, I feel like I've fallen into my style of video for a reason. I know you're mostly kidding, so don't worry. Um, but yeah, I do dream about being able to do that, but I have, my style feels like me, like it feels like I do this because this is what comes naturally and what works well for me. And editing just requires time. It is what it is. Silverback says, I teach MPLS at a college in Australia. It's very interesting. It allows setting up routes based on bandwidth and favorability. Interesting. But go NetApp for the Metro cluster. Metro cluster NetApp. Oh, I think that's what showed up first in the search. NetApp Metro cluster configurations combine array-based clustering with synchronous replication to deliver continuous availability, immediately duplicating all of your mission-critical data on a transaction-by-transaction basis. Metro cluster configurations enhance the built-in high availability and non-disruptive operations of NetApp hardware and on-tap storage software, providing an additional layer of protection for the entire storage and host environment. Interesting. There is clearly a lot of room for me to learn. This is one of the coolest parts about kind of like being young in the field. There's so many directions I can go with my expertise, and all of them sound really cool. I'm like never gonna run out of cool stuff to do. Also, Silverback, what's it like teaching? It's I used to do. I was a teaching assistant quite a bit, but um, I've never actually run a course. How do you find that? Is it fun? Um, all right. Make a second channel. I'd love to hear like a blog post about something or similar about books or papers you've read. Yeah, so I'm thinking about stuff like that. The biggest problem, of course, is like every time you make content, right? Like I fantasize about this all the time, where I'm like, oh, you know what? It actually wouldn't be very much work at all if I were to just like record quickly, create a second channel, and just like yap for 20 minutes and like release it to the wild, and it's not a big deal. And then the reality sets in. Maybe this is just me. Maybe this is because of the way that I am, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Wow. I'll get my words out clearly. I'll try. And I find even just that is a surprising amount of work, right? So I mean, I'm not saying your idea isn't cool, and I'm not saying I won't do it. I very well may, but um, it's a surprising amount of work. Let's say I yap for 30 minutes, right? Now I also have to still upload the video, which takes time. I could use an automatic thumbnail. I need to give it a title, but that's not too hard. And there's just all this extra management that goes along, you know? A metro cluster protects your data from smaller asteroid impacts. I've always thought to myself, you know, in the event of a small asteroid impact, how would I recover? What's my disaster recovery strategy for asteroid impact? Man, that would be fun to play around with. Silverback says, it's pretty fun. I like your content for the same reason. I teach for the same reason I teach. It's great seeing people figure something out and have that aha moment. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, it is a ton of fun. You know, like I'm very grateful. One of the things that I found really surprising when I first started streaming, especially, was I expected the vast majority of my viewers to be students who were less knowledgeable than me, right? Not because I'm extremely knowledgeable and there's not very many people more knowledgeable than me. That's I wasn't I instead thought, well, why would they watch my videos? Right? So I would only be useful to, and people would only find me interesting if maybe they knew less than I did and can learn something from me. What I found is actually a lot of really cool people, like the vast majority of people in chat, are actually people who have a lot more experience than me in some realm, if not all, right? And are enjoying kind of just seeing how I explore, right? And participating in the conversation, being able to give advice, but also, you know, seeing how, like, what technologies I'm playing with. And it's opened me up to, like, how learning flows between more than one person. So that when I thought I would be the teacher here, in fact, I am both a teacher and a learner, and that's really cool. Just do the longer videos in a channel membership format. Yeah. IRS level planning. Yeah. Okay. So channel membership stuff I'm interested in, right? I want to make better use of Patreon. I haven't yet, clearly. Um, and I'm curious about YouTube like members videos, because one of the things that bugs me, the ultimate rubber ducky experience. Yes, yes, exactly. Okay. Hold on. Let's talk about this for a second, because I am very much curious about it. Linus Tech Tips. So I think Linus Tech Tips is a good example of a channel that has like well, it was playing with member videos. Wait, where'd they all go? Do members videos not show up like this anymore? What happened? Did they take them all down? Does anyone know of a channel with a lot of membership videos that I can look at? Does anyone know? So, okay, my point was going to be this. For a while there, when you look at Linus Tech Tips channel page, it was like all channel membership, right? So every other video was like a channel members video. And that's there were a lot of comments. Shameless nerd. Oh, okay, good. Thank you. Okay. Here we go. So they show up, and if you do too many of them, it looks like, I don't know, it becomes quite annoying. Um, and I just don't know what to do about that. And it like, do these show up in your subscription box? Like, if a members only video is released, does that? Wait, am I looking at the right camera? No, I'm not. Does that show up in the subscription box? Like, I don't want to annoy people, you know, which is why I like Patreon, because it's like a separate thing. But at the same time, you know, people are already here on YouTube, so it's helpful. Dark Viper AU. Okay, I'll look at. Well, we got the thing, but thank you for the suggestion. Midwest safeties do. Okay, so I don't know how I feel about that. Um, Something worth considering, though. I also don't know what I would say. I don't know what I would talk about in like long form content. Part of me thinks it would be cool to maybe make like the stream VODs a members thing. I don't know. I don't like to. I don't know. It does sound cool. Don't forget to add a software defined satellite to your infinite money setup. These things are. What? What is that? The era of software defined satellites. Regenerative or software defined satellites can demodulate, perform channelization, and complete signal processing and modulation before retransmission. This approach increases processing gain, ultimately reducing the full link budget. Another major benefit is that the satellite becomes a node in a network, which can assist in forming a highly intelligent network. What? Okay, plus, you gotta let me know. Where did you discover that? And what was it used for? That's so cool. I don't mind it all too much, but it's knowing that you can't turn it off on either the creator or the user side. That's it exactly, right? Like, why aren't those in like a separate tab, right? Why do people who are not subscribed as members see my member videos? I would use it if it wasn't annoying. Yeah, there we go. I would use it if it wasn't annoying. Happily. Because it is nice that it's integrated. I don't have to go to Patreon or something, right? I don't have to like have a separate thing. But yeah, I don't know. Something worth thinking about though. What other updates do I have? And then we'll start talking about some actual containers. In the meantime, here, is there a way that I can create? I don't need a poll. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I don't want to send you all to a Google form. I guess we'll do that for now and watch the things come in. I do want to get a list of people's like favorite um containers. That would be cool. Okay. Favorite self-hosting things. Okay. We're gonna build this together. I don't need your email. List your favorite self-hosty things. Tell me how you host it. You know, I like C, Docker, Kubernetes, VM, bare metal, etc. And this one's going to be, what do we need? We need a text box. I don't need multiple. Short answer. There we go. Tool name. Self-hosty thingy name. There we go. That's what it should be. And then we'll do one that's, we'll do not multiple choice. We want a not linear scaling. Oh no, it is multiple choice. How do you host it? So I don't care if you can host it like lots of different ways. My point is like, um, how are you currently hosting it? Maybe I'll ask why. VM bare metal. We'll add other, and then we'll do one more. How do you host it? Why that way? And then we'll go paragraph. Why do you host it that way? We won't leave that required. How do I turn off emails? Do not collect. I don't need that for this. Publish. Shorten URL. There we go. And boom. All right, gang, tell me what you self-host. Okay. I don't mind it. Okay, yeah. I had to do one by Utelsat, but it was more of a tech demo. You know, SDR, imagine a satellite with capabilities, protocols are just software. You can get very creative with them. Interesting. Self-hosty thingy name. Yeah. Tell me that's not descriptive, right? Tell me that doesn't tell you what I need to be told. But what am I thinking about? Let's look at awesome self-hosted together. Does that look good? Oh, we got to do this, and then I got to go. Boop. There we go. And that's yet another weird thing that's happening with my OBS that I would like to fix. Is that why is it? Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna be off center. What do we got? Honestly, self-hosting some analytics would be cool. So maybe we'll do this. And I'm going to create a new page for self-hosting. Okay, self-hosting.md. Is it put in the right place? It's not. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Self-hosting. This is as opposed to the Homelab. The Homelab, which is for experimenting. Self-hosting is for, let's call it, what do I want to call this? What do I call it again? Production. Production things, you know, so jellyfin, like jellyfin, or storage for video editing. Okay. So we have a lot of things to consider, like what operating systems, right? How many devices, and for what? Let's do this. Questions. Right? Come on now. There we go. Hold on. I gotta put the chat over here. Let's pop this out. Go over here. Glad to see you doing this. Oh, thank you. That one big and small one. I love the names. I love the names. They're so good. I love that. I love that somebody the first response was just all of them at once. In my head, I was like, thought in my head I was like, people will submit just one, and then I realize here I've clearly communicated multiple things, plural. I mean, this is great. I much prefer to get more things out of all of you. That's helpful, but I just find it so funny how immediately I have miscommunicated. Okay. So right now, Like my current plan or thoughts are um, storage, Zima OS, uh, mostly because of the Zima client on iOS. That just makes backing things up so nice for multiple users. Really valuable for backing up not just my stuff, but my girlfriend's stuff. That's really the kicker here, because I don't mind setting up manual backups and things like that on my own device and then fixing it when it breaks, because it will of course break. But doing that on multiple devices and her having to wait for me to fix things is just, that's a non-starter. So yeah, I run multiple of those things in VMs in Docker. Okay. Okay. Cool. So I'm thinking this, and then compute. I'm I'm not sure how I feel yet. Maybe just bare metal. Bare metal, like Docker on bare metal. Docker on bare metal. Or we could go Proxmox VM Docker, like that. So the VM is the Docker host. So I guess yeah. Really, I'm saying, do we want a bare metal Docker host or a VM Docker host? What do you guys think? I like the setup of TrueNAS running with Proxmox with the SATA controller pass through, so I can back up the TrueNAS VM itself. I've that one I've seen. I've seen that one before. So TrueNAS running in Proxmox with the SATA controller passed through enables backing up the TrueNAS VM. Yeah, I've seen this one before, and it seems really promising. Um, Interesting. Hmm. Pros and cons with having the VM and not Docker on bare. Yeah, the big thing for me would be that you can just back up the VM, right? So if we're doing this, then we can use Proxmox backup. Um, oh, thank you, Oliver. I really appreciate that. That's very kind of you. I'm gonna lock in on chem homework. All right, have fun. um, okay, so yeah, the benefits of the VM is mostly that it's really easy to back up a virtual machine, especially if you're running Proxmox backup server. Good luck, broski. Thanks, you too. Um, so I like that. However, there are some. What was it called? I saw something really cool. I saw something really cool. It was like a Docker thing, a new Docker tool that allowed some Docker like GitOps. I'm a huge fan of GitOps in general. Uh, I'm gonna go looking for that again. I don't know where it went. I saw it in like a YouTube video. Actually, hold on. If we go studio and then we go, oh, that's not doing too bad. Nice. Okay. Um, I think if I go content, there's a thing for this. Not promotions, not posts, dashboard, analytics, trends. Okay, here we go. I think there was one for this. Docker? Okay. Well, that was a bust. Um, you can run Docker in an LXC. That feels prone to error. But okay. Self-host my media on an old PC. Hard drives contain movies. For music, I use Plex Amp. Nice. Yes, that does sound like a reasonable approach. I do want a little bit more complexity for funsies. Um, but that does sound cool. VM so that you can have certain things on various VLANs as needed. Super helpful for R stack or the setup suggested by Plus. Right. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. This is not going to be simple, is it? This is one of the issues. Everything sounds really cool. Okay. Well, let's take a look at things that we need. Image, Jellyfin, Plex, AdGuard, Mealy, actual budget. How is Nextcloud? How do you feel about that, guys? Containers. So I'm going to create a list. I know I'm going to run image. Image rocks. Dixie, thank you. Um, you've converted me. AdGuard for sure. Okay, so we'll add a considering. So these are kind of like for sure. And then potential. I'm not sure about paperless. I don't know how much I need that, but it does sound cool. I want book lore, links to Kobo, plus nicer UI than what is it? Calibra. When when running TrueNAS on Proxmox, you can also define a host-only bridge network. Running TrueNAS on Proxmox, you can also define a define a host-only bridge network. And any VM on the same host really gets fast storage access. Okay, let me see if I understand what you're saying here. Um, so in this scenario, you're running Proxmox on the device that that also has the drives, and you are passing through the SATA controller to TrueNAS running in a VM. So we do not have two separate bare metal devices, right? We have compute and storage on one physical machine. Is that correct? You're not limited by the speed of an Ethernet interface. Yeah, I guess with MTU 9000 plus, we're really going fast. I'm digging back into my networking course for this. What is it normally? Something like 1500? And what does that mean? Is it packet size? So we're getting like much larger packet sizes. How does this affect our speed? I mean, other than like bigger, better. If you don't mind, sort of giving me a small lesson here. So one, do I have the correct understanding about what the bare metal looks like that you're describing? Two, do I have the correct understanding about the virtual machines and how those are oriented? And three, what does the MTU do? Okay, yeah, okay. Yes, VMs can run on the same, but if the host joins a cluster, you can move VMs based on the need back and forth. VMs can run on the same, but if this host joins a cluster, you can move VMs based on the need back and forth. Okay, so we're saying because you can cluster Proxmox nodes, right? I've never done it, but we can. Hey Nick, how's it going? So that's cool. How does the host-only bridge network work if we're talking about a cluster of Proxmox nodes? So let's say I have two Proxmox nodes. So these are like bare metal devices with, I assume, let's say in this case, one of them has drives and one of them is just compute. Does the host-only bridge network, I'm assuming, does not work if we have these, does not give me the speed improvement if these are clustered and the VM is running on the compute only node. Is that correct? Have I articulated the question properly? In the meantime, oh, Nick, I have a thing. Let me send this. Copy, shorten. Here we go. I'm going to drop this in chat. Where'd chat go? There it is. Maybe I'll share this out with people as well. That could be cool. Okay, so we've got a couple of things. I know I want these. Image, Jellyfin, AdGuard, and Booklore are kind of key. They're core to what I'm interested in. Oh, Home Assistant, of course. And this I much prefer in the VM. I want Home Assistant OS. Or an LXC might work just fine as well. Didn't realize Zima OS was a thing. Casa always looked very nice, but I don't really see the difference beyond the client phone app. Also, isn't this one-time license thingy making it closed source? Um, yes, yes. So it's built on Zima is Casa OS with some additional goodies. It is somewhat closed, so some of it's open and some of it's not, which is a downside. I agree. I don't mind paying for the license personally, like, but I do have the issue with the closed sourciness of it. That is unfortunate. But the phone app is just such a bonus to me that what are you gonna do? I suppose I could go straight to image, but I don't know how image's deduplication works. So we'll see. The very first question, what is that? Self-hosty thingy name. You know, what is the name of the thing that you like self-hosting? It's the self-hosty thingy and the name of it. Come on, Nick, think about it. And they stopped working on Casa. I think so. I think so. Um, I like Grafana and Prometheus. These are not potentials, but they're eventually. So I wouldn't call these like core to the experience that I need. How secure is Zima with the phone client? Who is Icewhale? Can they access everything on my server? Isn't this just a backdoor? Um, I don't think they can access that. Um, it is like self-hosted. I don't know, and I'm not putting it on the internet. But I guess technically, because it is closed source, there is like a very, very small chance that they have introduced some crazy backdoor. With image, you don't need to worry about Zima. That is correct, but I'm not personally worried about that. That's just my take. If it does bother you that it is partially closed source, then fair enough. It's not the solution for you. Piehole, I'll be going AdGuard instead, so that'll probably be my thing. Nextcloud, Mealy. I don't need Mealy. I've tried it before. It is cool. What is QEX? Oh, this is like the self-hosted. Yes, I want that. Self-hosting Wikipedia, Arch Wiki, etc. That sounds really cool. Okay. What else we got? Booking and scheduling. I don't know about that. We're going to need a backup solution. Oh, thanks, Plus. Really appreciate that. Proxmox cluster TrueNAS example. Okay. I don't do a lot of office related things in my personal life. Like I mostly just do Markdown for everything. Like I even use Markdown for my presentations. Like hold on, I'm going to do this off screen. But let's see if we can. Oh, I would like to do Vault Warden because I've been doing Bitwarden this whole time, which has made my life way better. But moving over to Vault Warden would be cool. I'm not particularly worried about that, but it would be cool. Okay. Okay, let's put this back here. Okay. So, if you're curious, I keep a lot of my like talks in Markdown. So you can actually see like this is just a Markdown document, and then you can run it with what was the tool I was using? Do I have a README? MARP. MARP. This is really cool. You need some spreadsheets to feel whole again. Ever plan on hosting your own LLM? I'm thinking about it. What is Technicium? Is that how I pronounce it? Open source DNS server for privacy and security. Interesting. Block ads and malware at DNS level for your entire network. Okay, how does this relate to AdGuard? These seem to me to do similar things. Is that right? Yeah, I'm curious about self-hosting LLMs. I don't use LLMs very much these days. And when I do, I just use them I use them for like code, right? And the Cloud ones are just so much better than local ones. It feels almost pointless at the moment. I would do self-hosted LLMs for like Home Assistant. Um, Here, let's move this here. Actually, no, this is quick to install. I want to do like self-hosted voice assistant with LLM integration. That would be really cool because I would like to get off of Siri. So we'll see about that. Technicium is nice features, but writing a DNS server in .NET is tool over task philosophy. Okay, I see. Interesting. I've heard you talk about Grist before. Icewell is a relatively trusted company. They mainly make profits from hardware sales, as far as I'm aware. I think it would be pretty bad PR to put a backdoor considering their audience. Yes, I agree. So I have had like direct communication with Icewell, like because they sponsored one of my videos when they sent me where's my zimaboard? My zimaboard. Um, and like not that positive communications is a proxy for a long track rest for like open sourceness or whatever, but they have come across very trustworthy to me, you know, for what that's worth. Obviously, I I acknowledge the value of the stance of like I only use open source software in my self-hosting setup. That's very reasonable, and I won't fault you for that. Um, my line is a little softer on that, but I do like I would really love it. It was if it was open source. I would still pay for the client or sorry, I would still pay for the license, right? Like I don't mind paying for a license if some I don't mind paying for a license. Open source is what matters to me, so I can read the code. Um, Licensing, I think it's fair to charge for software, so that doesn't bother me. Okay. QX is very fun. Yes, yes. Okay, let's consider Grist. They do similar things, but allow you to have multiple instances that are connected. I think I missed what that's in response to. Ah, Technicium. Okay. Interesting. How has the changing technological landscape of the ever-evolving skibbity toilet impacted you and those you hold dear? Um, you know, I think it adds a lot of cognitive strain to constantly be trying to keep up to date with the technological landscape of it and how it ever evolves. And I really do think that plays out in my relationships. And for DNS, to me, multiple instances is important. That makes a lot of sense. I can respect that. Okay. So, all right, let's see what. By the way, use MARP. This is awesome. Like making presentations in Markdown feels good. It feels very good. Um, okay, what else we got? All right, let's take a look at Grist. I don't do a lot of spreadsheety things. I will consider it. I will consider it if I start spreadsheeting a bunch of stuff. Okay. Let's see. I can close this. I can close this. I'm going to leave this open. We didn't collect emails, right? So I can't oust anyone by accident. Okay, good, 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 good. I don't think oust is the word I was looking for. Uh, Self-hosting blogging could be cool because like nathanlaundry.com is really out of date. It always is. Like none of my recent articles are here. Oh, this is cool. Um, so something that needs working. I'm not doing the coaching thing either. Do my links work? Nice. Okay, great. Well, at least that's true. It's good enough for now. I would like to self-host analytics because I want not to, be I mean, my website is with what am I using for analytics? I chose Umami. I want to self-host this. So that would be cool. So we can do self-hosted Umami for analytics. I'd like that. Why Vault Warden over Bitwarden if you already use Bitwarden? Just to self-host. Just because it's fun to self-host things. I'd probably keep a backup somehow. Oh yeah, my hair was much longer then. I go through phases. Dock hand. That's the one. Thank you, Ozzy. You rock. This one. I'm very interested in this. I'm gonna put it under potential, but I saw GitOps, and if you say GitOps, I'm a happy camper. Traffic, yes, of course. CrowdSec and authentic, considering Karakeep. What is Karakeep? Is this like a bookmark? Okay, I don't do a lot of bookmarking. I don't read articles. Like I don't read articles on the web. Um, okay, actually, that's another thing. Um, I want to know what people like, whose articles people read, because I don't read articles very much. Head scale, maybe head scale's tough because it like the reason tail scale is great is because it makes things super easy. Head scale takes tail scale and then makes tail scale difficult. And at that point, why am I not using WireGuard? Um, like directly? I don't know. I haven't thought that through. That might be a very naive opinion. Okay, hold on. I want to go through more of these. Um, yeah, so we're definitely going to be using traffic. It's been a while since I set that up, but I still have my old Docker Compose setup on GitHub, so I'll probably bring that back, and that'll make for a good YouTube video too. Um, CrowdSec. Open source and participative security solution offering crowdsourced server detection and protection against malicious IPs. Detect and block with our security engine, contribute to the network, and enjoy our real-time community block list. This seems interesting. Okay. Now, I haven't done authentic before, but I have read about it and I am very curious. Take control of your identity needs with a secure, flexible solution. What is this? Oh, it's just showing me dark mode. Okay. Using a self-hosted open source identity provider means prioritizing security and taking control of your most sensitive data. With Authentic, you no longer need to continue to place your trust in a third-party service. Okay. That's definitely going under potential ease. We'll have to build towards that. I think a lot of my potentialities are actually quite likelies, but yes. I found Authentic to be much harder than Pocket ID. Okay. So let's go with like ID providers. So Authentic, I do like that they lead with simple. I like their website better already, which I know is not a good proxy for its better software, but what are you going to do? Oh, interesting. Okay, we'll have to spend some time on this. Maybe this year we get back to a little bit of self-hosting together because it's been a while, and now that like if I'm moving away from Kubernetes, which really has been one of the big issues, um, because it's just so hard to get anything going on Kubernetes. Uh, maybe we start hosting a little bit. We actually build some stuff on stream again because I'm looking at all this and I'm getting excited, and it has been a little while since I've been excited about my self-hosting setup. So that's actually quite welcome. That's cool. Oh yes, I was looking at your comment. Please, there we go. Karakeep, fresh RSS, Home Assistant. I don't do any RSS feeds, but maybe I'm a loser and I actually need to get more of that going. Navidrome. Navidrome. Yes, I do want to start moving to music as well. So that's going under for sure. Okay. So that's a good list because this gives me music. Um, we're gonna create an infrastructure list. So, right, traffic is infrastructure. So this is smart home. This is let's I don't know what to call this. Books. AdGuard goes under infrastructure, if you ask me. Jellyfin, video, like movies. I'm just gonna say movies. Photos. Okay. I like this. I don't know where QE goes. Well, I don't know where it goes, so it's going under eventuallys, which is probably a weird thing to do. Cool. Okay. Good start. What else we got? Explain ID provider. I don't want to Google. Authentic is more full-scale enterprise solution, but Pocket ID is the basic, more user-friendly. Okay. Then maybe I go with Pocket ID for self-hosting. We'll see. But yeah, okay. Sort of. I really like Jellyfin for music. Really? Oh, okay. So that's worth considering. Did I just have a lisp for a second? Interesting. Jellyfin might also work for music. Cool. Do you do podcasts or audiobooks? Audiobook shelf is very handy. I do podcasts. I don't do audiobooks. I find here's my reasoning. I don't have anything against audiobooks, right? I'm not one of those people who's like it's just strictly better to read. Don't really care. I just find I like reading books better. I don't listen to things that often, and when I do, I like that they're self-contained. So I don't so I like that I can listen to a podcast and it's done by the time my commute is done. Where and because I don't commute often enough, and often I'll like just not listen to anything on a commute, it would be too long a gap between listenings for audiobooks for me. But it is pretty cool for this. Traffic is not for exposing to the internet. Well, I mean, I think you could use it to help you with that, but primarily it's for what's the word for it? It's like an ingress controller. Is that proxy? It's a proxy? Okay. But basically it lets you name things appropriately, I think. It helps a lot. Okay. So, podcasts audio bookshelf. I know audio bookshelf also has a really nice integration with Home Assistant. Real question. As someone who isn't very technologically inclined, what are you talking about? Ah, fair. So, let's chat. You're on Arch, by the way. You need waifu. Okay, so what are we talking about? Hmm. How do I give the right amount of context? So this is a very good question. As I think about this, it's not, I'm not, being denigrating in my approach or anything. I want to think about how to set the right amount of context so that I can explain to you what this means without adding a bunch of jargon on top. Okay. So I would explain it like this. Self-hosting and the applications we're looking at are generally approaches to they're tools. We're looking to replace software as a service. So these are applications that run in the cloud on somebody else's hardware. That could be things like Notion, or it could be Google Docs, or Netflix. All of these are software as a service, which means that they run on somebody else's computer, or like a server farm somewhere, right? When we self-host, what we're doing is finding applications that replace those that run on computers in our own homes. Right now, we're creating a list of various self-hosted applications that I'm interested in running. Does that make sense? Good question, by the way. I'm sure there are a number of people that wanted to ask that question that didn't. So please, thank you for doing that. It's not easy to ask questions that, when you feel like you're not the informed person in the room. I'm Navidrome for over Jellyfin for music. The one thing I couldn't get was playing random album on Jellyfin, but Navidrome, not sure if that makes a difference for you. Okay, interesting. Traffic is not just for exposing to the internet. It is so you don't have to go to the IP. Yes. Hey, Alex, how's it going? And Northern Chimp says, all the cool things someone can run at home rather than relying on online services. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Kidrissa, how's it going? Very late to the stream, so I'll watch the VOD later. Sounds good. Okay. So, and we're connecting here. I'll also, if anyone else wants to add I don't know if that's the responder link, but whatever. If you want to add what you're self-hosting, feel free. Okay. And HTTPS. Yes. Oh, I'll have to do the HTTPS thing at some point. Okay. So we have a lot of really cool things. And what I'm noticing is Grafana, right? And this. So this is security. We're just going to call this security. And we're going to call this management. And this is observability. And this is proxy. This is DNS and ad blocking. That's really what I use it for. Okay, so notice immediately, what have I done here? I have already made the foolish mistake of making all of the stuff that makes this secure and safe to use and recoverable, all of that, eventuallys. Look at that. Let's build a bunch of functionality that I rely on and not build in what makes it work safely and securely. Interesting. What if instead, well, hello? This all works. What if instead we build the infrastructure first, huh? And we'll call these features. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I don't screw myself in advance. What do you guys think about that? Okay. How do you get your music? Do you buy it? Download Linux ISOs. How do you get your music? Do you buy it? There's the question. I currently I'm still streaming. I want to change that. I buy all my media. I do. I haven't gone down the rabbit hole of Linux ISOs, and frankly, I prefer to purchase. It's not like a anti-piracy stance. Let's chat about this actually. So I don't have an anti-piracy stance, right? Because like, I do when it comes to like small things. So like, I wouldn't pirate some guy's SoundCloud, right? But YouTube, I would not pirate anything. Okay, so now we've done that. However, I would not personally condemn somebody with like claiming they've made some moral offense or grievance if they chose to access Linux ISOs in one way or another. The reason I prefer to purchase is it limits the rate of consumption. And it limits it in such a way that I have to make choices about what media I would like to own, right? I like that. It makes it so that I only own my favorite movies and I only own books that I'm really excited to read, right? It limits the backlog, that kind of thing. So I like what it does for my consumption and the way that I engage with media. I think being forced to curate your media because you have to purchase it and own it leads you to do a little bit more identity formation with it, and I think that's quite valuable. So, yeah. Brene Brown, The Power of Vulnerability. Ooh, one of these days I'm gonna put out a poll at some point on the Discord or something. Where am I in focus? There we go. And ask for everybody's favorite books. I think that would be cool. Direct from Bandcamp. Okay, good to know. Ooh, digitizing records is really cool. No one like all these nerdy stuff. Okay. Bazel for observability is good. Put backups in infra. Put backups in infra. Yes. Yes, we should. Now, okay. So the reason backups aren't in here is because I don't think backups are going in a container, right? We need a backup solution, but we don't need, I don't think that's a container. So we need to consider how to do this. If we go Proxmox, then it's Proxmox PBS, backup solution, right? Um, that's something. Then we also need, there's the cloud thing, maybe Backblaze, something like that. We could have a lot of fun with that, right? Okay. Bazel for observability. Bazel. Bezel? Simple lightweight server monitoring with Docker stats, historical data, and alerts. Ooh. Okay, we'll consider this. We'll consider this as an alternative to like the Grafana Prometheus thing. I think I want to go Grafana Prometheus. I think because I've seen it in actual production setups and I haven't seen this. But we'll see. Observability alternative. Does look cool though. Okay. Would you be willing to explain the ID providers management and security? I'm like only running features. I can try. I don't know it very well. I don't actually understand it really well. But I will try. And I think I'll commit to building some of this, like quite a bit of this on stream. I do think that moving to Docker Compose is going to help a lot. So we might actually do some more building this year, which is how the stream started. We used to build a lot, but you know. Redward says, yeah, it makes sense. So why don't companies do this instead of sending your actions to a server, then sending that updated info back from the server to you? Wouldn't it be easier for them too? It's a really good question. That's a really good question. Partly because partly because keeping data synchronized is expensive and difficult. Like technologically, that is a difficult problem to solve. Secondly, if they're already keeping it on their servers, sending your actions to a server, then sending that updated info back, latency. So if the data is already on their server, then it's easier to do actions on the data there and then send you a view than to send the data to them, do actions, and then send data back. That may be one option. Also, when applications run in the cloud on somebody else's computer, then that's how you can get like mobile applications working, right? Because in the early days, mobile devices like phones were extremely underpowered. Running full-fledged desktop software on that device wouldn't work. But if it's running on the cloud, then you can use the browser, and the browser is more or less universal, and so on. Some other people in chat might be able to also drop into that answer. Linux ISO. Oh, I don't get it. Isn't a Linux ISO? Yes, that's right. Linux ISO is a euphemism for torrents and piracy. Drop a Goodreads. Will do. I'll do that in a sec. I see. Don't know that slang. Thank you. I didn't know either. I got caught off guard too. If you want help with Docker Compose, I can do that. Yeah, that'd be fun. I run it all in Compose. Yes. Okay. All right. We'll play around with that. I'll share my old setup and we can start to plan that out together. I think it'll be fun to actually plan this quite a bit. Dixie, as a fellow self-hoster, but a noob without all the second infra, am I screwing myself over? Not terribly, but things do break. And like being prepared for breakages is nice. I have time, right? Nobody's relying on my self-hosting right now. So I want to take the time to build up something really secure, build it slowly, understand it, all of that. I think it'll be really fun. I'm using Keycloak as ID provider, but it's more out of convenience because I'm used to it. Okay, cool. We'll add that on the list of considerations. Like, frankly, Plus uses this version or this thing is a pretty strong factor in my considerations. Not even like partly because I trust that you will be using a good tool, but partly just because like if we're building it on stream, you being able to help is a really big plus. Okay. Are ID providers for allowing others to use your services? That's one of the things. I also just like to have ID providing. Though also I think that you probably want to follow some basics in Docker, no host networking, use non-root users, etc. Yes, that's something we can start to think about. So maybe what we'll do is draft out like a big design doc for the lab. We're having fun now. We are cooking. Okay. Yes, that does sound really cool. So, or to allow yourself to remember only one password. Yes. Okay. For centralized auth and roles. Yes, centralized auth is going to be really nice. Wow, this is going to be cool. Okay, well, let's add to some of the eventualities. Just by the way, we are coming up on 15 minutes till the close of stream, but this has been a fun one. I feel like we actually did stuff this week. Like last week, we were just chatting, and that was super fun and interesting. But I feel like we're actually doing like what the thing said. Oh, let me send a link. I haven't been sending the Discord link around as much lately, um, and it's just because it was starting to get a little bit unwieldy with all the new folks. But anyone who participates in stream chat is a very welcome addition to the server. There we go. Okay, there we go. So how do you link ID providers link into services like Jellyfin has their own login? Is there a plugin for Jellyfin to bypass? I'm not actually sure. That'll be a lot of fun to solve, I think. That'll be a lot of fun to solve. Yeah, generally you can configure it per service. How you do that depends on the service. Is parasocial? I mean, I don't know. So what is the actual definition of parasocial? I'm curious, right? Because like stream is pretty small, right? I'm not like I don't know, one of those big old streamers, right? So I actually recognize you guys, you know? And so it does kind of feel like it does feel like we're actually building this together. Do you know what I mean? Like the same people show up and chat and hang out and have fun. Um and that's really cool. It's not like the sort of parasocial thing that happens when somebody follows the Kardashians, right? Because the Kardashians know nothing about you. So we're real friends. You're a big streamer. What? How many people are watching? It's like 20 something. I mean, like I appreciate it. It's really fun, but yeah. Um, I think there is a really big difference. You know what I mean? I have a parasocial relationship with Nathan. For those who don't know, Nick and I are building intentional tech together, like the 30-day cohorts, and we've known each other for like what 10 years. We went to the same university and everything. Jellyfin has an OIDC plugin. Ooh, very cool. Okay, finally had time to set up my zimaboard, and it was so nice and easy to work with. That is awesome to hear. I'm really glad. Uh, okay, yeah. So I think that's what we'll do. Um, so at work, here's a little more inside baseball. My team is really small, and so we've been like playing around with how like what our workflow is, right? Um, and we just started doing these like much more detailed design docs for features that we're building, and that was huge. Like the improvement in the quality of the work that I did was massive, and I'm realizing like forefront like at the get-go planning out the home lab and any technical project in much greater detail than I thought was necessary is a huge thing. Like it's such an improvement, and I really want to take that approach to this self-hosting stack now. I love these structured MDs. Me too. Do you have a master's degree in computer science? I do, yes. I got my master's focusing on computer science education. That was my focal point. Actually, let me see if we can find our thesis, or our thesis, my thesis. If you're curious. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can do this, and then we go here, and then we can Google Scholar me. Let's go. I need to make a thing. We got cited 34 times on this paper, by the way, which is that's really exciting. Look at me. Look at me. Huh? Our Nathan. Yes. Yes, comrade. Oh, this got cited a fair amount too. Look at that. Huh? We're doing it. This was my thesis. So if anyone wants to read 70 pages of stuff, then 97 pages if you read the citations. There we go. Yes, if you would like to read 82 pages of text. Wait. Table of contents. We can skip through that. There. It starts on page 11. Yeah, you can read about this. Looks like you had fun with LaTeX. Oh, yeah. That's what I had. It was fun. God, LaTeX. Um, I won't read any citations. Yes, so I did write this all in LaTeX, and my supervisor said to me, "I'm not editing anything in a Word document. It's LaTeX or don't talk to me." I loved her for that. She was awesome. Um, and she would take these very like opinionated stances, and it was good. I wrote my master's thesis about deep, excuse me, deep reinforcement learning based TCP congestion control algorithms. It was really cool to work. That's super cool. Wow. Um, Please share that. If you're in the Discord, feel free to share that. If you're not, then I'll send you the link. Um, let's plop that over here again and grab the link. LaTeX is not that bad. No, it's not. I'm. Oops. Let's do this. I hate formatting. I just always hate dealing with formatting. So, yeah. I had some tables in here that were a pain. Hold on. Let me see if I can find them. I'm looking for some of these tables that might get complicated. Whatever. I was just, uh, I hate formatting things. I'm so glad my thesis was only 10,000 words. I have no idea what the word count on this is. Yeah, my thesis has gotten cited 0 times. So I'm a big academic, guys. Oh, yeah, and the first paper I published, very short one. Is this right? Identification of ontological entities and introductory computer science assignments. I don't even remember this. That doesn't look finished. Yes, this is the paper I wrote. Has it been cited at all? I'll cite you in my next chem paper. Aw, hell yeah. This one I was actually happy about. Laundry dryer lint. Yep, nope, that's not it. I have to log in to download my own paper. Cringe. But yes, I was using code smells to provide people automated feedback on their coding assignments, which was cool. It was a lot of fun. Okay, so yeah, I like this. I feel like we have some good ideas here. It's 24,000 words for your thesis, by the way. 24,000. How long for the average book? How long is the average book? Like a pop science book. Pop science book length. 75,000. 50,000 to 80,000 words. My God. Interesting. Because one of these days, like eventually, one of my goals is to write a book. I'm hoping that's everything, by the way, like title and references. Okay, cool. Yeah, one of the things I would like to do in the future is write a book on digital ethics. Um, but I need to do more writing. I've been doing like mostly YouTube videos. My Substack has been languishing, but hopefully with the new structure, with a video editor and with and publishing YouTube videos every other week, I'll have time to write some articles because that is important. I think that's where I'm going to do the most development of my thesis. Wittgenstein's Tractatus is around 31,000 words. Interesting. Okay. So, I put out a fair amount of work there. I'm pretty happy about that. Okay, cool. So, this was a fun stream. I'll do a little bit of work off stream. Um I guess I have a little bit of time this week, so maybe I'll spend some time on the home lab and revive my old Docker Compose setup. Let's see if I can find it. Pop over. Oh, Ober. I was channeling my Filipino background there for a second. For those who don't know, the Filipino accent can be well done by replacing V sounds with B sounds and F sounds with P sounds, and then you're a lot of the way there. Okay. Where's my Docker setup? I know it's in here. Docker. Huh? Homelab? Server? Public server config. Server. Yes, here we go. Soon midnight here, so I'm leaving. I always feel pumped up for more geeking and learning more. Even as a musician, I can't let go of my inner nerd. Oh, cool. Wait, Dixie, have you told me you're a musician before? Okay. So yeah, this was my original structure. So basically I had a make file that just did like Docker compose up a bunch of stuff. This is old. This is missing stuff. Well, the idea was pretty sound though. I liked the make file setup. Cool. All right, Dixie, next time we chat, let's definitely tell me more about your music. That sounds cool. My English is going to crap right now as my brain is dying from all the memorandums I had to write today. Fair enough. Um, yes. So I think I'll see about taking a similar approach to this. Should be fun. Apropos LaTeX, one of my coworkers met the guy who made LaTeX and said he's really annoying. Was LaTeX done by the semantic programming guy? I feel like it was. Okay. Anyways, we gotta call it quits. It is about that time. Let me go. Let me do this. Thank you all for a really fun stream again. I'm glad we're doing a little bit more technical stuff again. I'm actually quite pumped. Um, we'll see what I want to do about hardware and all of that in the future. I also need to think about how to make use of what I already own well because I've got some saving to do money wise. But yeah, wage drop. Oh yes, yes, good catch, Oliver. Thank you. And Kyle, what's if you're still out there? What was that app? You keep recommending it to me as a replacement for Goodreads, and I keep not switching. And I am interested. One of my main draws to Goodreads at the moment is um, my friend and I shit post on it. My friend and I shit post on Goodreads, and it's really quite fun. Oh, there you are, Kyle. Cool. Okay, so here's my Goodreads. How do I share profile? Here we go. Think this'll do. That coworker used to work at Bell Labs, so he has a lot of interesting stories about the people who work there. Oh, that's cool. I met a guy who worked at Bell Labs back at like the Unix version 8 days. Um, and he was super fun to talk to. Yes. Here, hold on. Let me send. Go ahead and send there. If you would like to email me things, I do check fairly often these days. So yeah. was starting to do that. What is this? Might redo my home lab following the stream. Yeah, I was actually just talking to like my colleague today at work, and he was asking kind of like what kinds of people sort of attend stream and what are they getting out of it, just out of curiosity. And that's one of the things that comes up is like I think people use it a lot as like a co-working time, which is a really cool way for this to sort of play out. All right. Anyways, thank you all for hanging out. This has been super fun. I am looking forward to developing the home lab. We'll probably do another part tomorrow, and or not tomorrow, next week. It should be fun. Oh, hey Terry, how's it going? We're actually just signing off now, but I saw your comment on Substack, and that was really nice of you. Was hopefully next time we can. I won't catch you just as I'm shutting down stream. And yes, I am in Toronto. I might have some older hardware that I can't speak. I might have some older hardware there that I can offer for reasonable. Oh, all right, Ozzy. Thank you. We can chat about that. Feel free to ping me on Discord, or I dropped my email in there as well, like in the chat. So feel free to reach out. Okay, everyone. Thank you all so much for your time. I will catch you next week.